ladies and gentlemen, the red light goes on and here I am. It's Monday the 5th of March 2018 and I'm here broadcasting from jolly old Worthing at the edge of the South Downs and right beside the English Channel. And it's lovely to be here. So lovely to be here with you for my and your entertainment. Another week starts. I hope you missed me during the weekend. I did post a picture of me dancing about, prattling around, making a complete and utter fool of myself, which I do quite a lot, regularly. I know. What I haven't done is actually put a video of me talking to myself out, which my lovely daughter Georgie popped round today, and she caught me talking to myself. You know, just having those mild-mannered conversations that one does with oneself. I'm sure we all do it, you know, but when I talk to myself, I give myself two different personalities, so I'm talking 1 minute about one thing and then a different character from the other corner of my mouth will squeeze out some sort of voice and answer myself, so it does look like there's lots of people here. Of course, I'm really only doing it to confuse the burglars, because as you can imagine, you know, a burglar watching this show would think, oh, that Vobes character, he's got to have a lot of stuff, and he doesn't listen to the Naked Englishman, obviously, to get the true picture. But they probably think, you know, there's tons of exciting equipment here, not realising that I really make my videos on a GoPro and a small little gimbal. But hey-ho, it works, it does work. And I've usually got those gadgets with me, so it would be pointless them coming in and nicking anything. And I just make that completely clear. It is absolutely pointless coming in and nicking anything. Besides which, I'll have to put up with half a dozen different characters, strange, quirky little voices coming out the corner of my mouth. Anyway, it's Monday, and the best thing is, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing is the snow, certainly as far as Worthing is concerned, has gone. Oh, hallelujah. Yes, indeed. The snow has gone. I did venture out in the snow. We'll talk a little bit about that a little later on. But now it's all completely and utterly vanished, and I'm so thrilled. I'm not saying it's warm, it's still a bit chilly in here. I have got the fire on, but nearly run out of gas on the old bottle. But there it is, we are here. So fantastic, so another show, and it's lovely to see you, and thanks for coming along. Well done, boys. It's always good to have the band along, isn't it? It's always good to have the band along. And they do look a bit bandy. But never mind. Anyway, let's find out if you're actually out there and see if you're singing praises as normal or shuddering and shouting at the screen. So Gary Baines has joined us, Jake, of course, Nigel, hello from Goring. Hello to you from Goring. It's very nice. Nigel says he's going to buy me lunch tomorrow, so I'm the lucky man. Maggie is there. Good evening from Herefordshire. Oh, Herefordshire is very nice. It's very nice to have you along. Steve, Jurgen, we've got Brendan and Ian and Jake, I've said Ake, and Ed and Steve. Hello, Steve. Saw your video today with your parallel bars. Very good, very impressive. And Mick, who says, hi to you, Mr. Vobes. Hi to you, Mick, wherever you hail from. It's lovely to have you on board. So, here we go. There'll be more people coming, of course. It takes a few moments for people to get themselves together and find where the Bald Explorer is, but you're all very welcome. And it's great to see everybody going into the Bald Explorer group, the special group where you can post the pictures of things that are of interest to you, that happen to you, and people can comment, and it's fantastic that they do. And it's so nice. And every now and again, it struck me that it would be a great idea just to sort of go in there, delve a little bit, see who's doing what, and maybe present some of those pictures up here in the live show, really just to encourage everybody to post stuff and talk to each other and all that kind of stuff, and give people thumbs up and all those sort of things, and also to prove that I'm actually there and I do care. Oh, by golly, do I care. Of course, right from the old... Is it going? Oh, yes, it is going, just about. So let's have a look. There was a couple of things. I mean, there's lots of things. I can't go through all of them because what's the point? The group is there for you to go and have a little shufty around. But a couple of things that took my interest, actually, today. Oh, by the way, I have a special announcement. I had a piece of paper here I wrote down at the end of the show last week on Friday. It says here, I'll put it up. It says, look, Kevin Hall got the wrong name last time. I called him Justin Hall, and he very wisely chastised me. He said, "Oi, my name's not Justin Hall. Thank you. Thank you very much. Who do you think you are? I'm one of your patrons. Get your act together, Vobes," he said, in no uncertain terms. And he is a painter and decorator, and I knew he was going to slosh me in bright red paint and cause Mayos and Kayhem. Whatever that is. Sounds like a new tandoori dish, doesn't it? Mayos and Kayhem. I'll have a Mayos and Kayhem, please, with the pilo rice, if you don't mind. Anyway, Kevin, I do apologise for getting your name wrong, and I shall try not to do it anymore. Anyway, so I've done that. That's Kevin Hall, who is one of the lovely patrons. Of course, you can become a patron, support the Vobes and all the rest of it, and that's all good. So, meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, posting in the group forum, there were lots of interesting things. So let's have a little look here. I've got a little special file here. So hang on, let's not go to that one. This was interesting. A chap said on the forum, he said, "Why don't you come to Hove?" And I said, "Hove?" I was thinking Hove actually, if you don't mind. There's a lot of things in Hove. Where specifically in Hove? I said. And he said, well, of course, the Brunswick estate. And I thought, Brunswick, there's a lot of Brunswicks I've heard around in Sussex. There used to be a pub in Worthing called the Brunswick. I think it's shut down now and changed its name. It's become something else. And even then, I think it's shut down since and changed its name again. I'm not sure. I think it went to something like the Grapes. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So I had a quick look because it was in Hove, and I checked it up, and it was all very swish. Have a look at this. Have a look. Here we are. Look, this is one of the pictures. This is very lovely Regency houses in Hove. Don't they look splendiferous? They certainly do, I'll have you know. And there is... Hang on a minute, I've lost the blooming file. Here we are. Where's the other one? There's the next one. Here we are. This is the more grander of the two pictures. These are from Wikipedia, I'll have you know. But they look very nice. So I said, oh, that sounds very nice. I said, maybe you could take me round, because I always like to put up the challenge. I always like to challenge the people who suggest things to me, because generally they know more about the place than I do, obviously. So this chap was called Paul Coachman, and I thought, that's a distinguished name, isn't it? Coachman, take me round the back immediately, Mr. Coachman. Righto, sir, he said. Righto. He said he works in a very nice townhouse there, and he said, I'd be delighted to take you round. Absolutely delighted. So, you know, one on the doorstep, more or less, and that's fantastic. So negotiations are going, a lot of greenbacks have got to pass, I understand, in order to get in there. But, you know, we'll do our best, and thank you very much, Paul. And if you're watching, it's very kind. And if anybody else happens to have suggestions of places to go, then do, you know, drop me an email or put a message in the Bald Explorer forum, or message me, or write it on the back of a £10 note and send it in the post, and that would be absolutely fantastic. That guarantees that I go there, as long as it's not, you know, Australia or somewhere ridiculous. Let's have a look, see what the suggestions are coming in. Kevin Hall, not Justin Hall, Kevin Hall says that I am forgiven. Thank you very much, that's very kind of you. Rob Moore says, hello from the moors. That sounds like, you know, out there on a bleak, dark, moorish night. Don't go on to the moors, Mr. Holmes. Do you remember that in The Hound of the Baskervilles? I forget who it was. Stapleton, wasn't it? Stapleton. Don't go on to the moors, Mr. Holmes. There's a horrific hound. Don't be ridiculous. I will go out onto the moor. Come. What's his name? Watson. I was going to call him Moriarty then. Here, come, Moriarty. We're going to go and find the Hound of the Baskervilles. No. From the moors. Anyway, thank you, Rob. Sorry to muck about with your name. Brendan says Hove is a very nice little area. Of course, absolutely. West Blatchington Windmill is in Hove too. As you know, that Brendan is potty about windmills. And actually, I'm going to be giving a talk at the West Blatchington Windmill at the Windmill Group's AGM. Yet to work out what it is I'm going to be talking about. I thought I'd read a vintage thing. I thought I'd read something very old, you know, things that we used to know about. You know, I think that's a bit of our heritage. Thought I'd read the telephone directory. Yeah, that should pass a few hours, wouldn't it? Stuart Hill is there saying, hi, Richard. Chrissy Richardson has arrived. Hello, Chrissy. By the way, Chrissy, here's a thing. Thought about this since you mentioned fracking, putting me on the spot. I thought, well, I'm up for a challenge. Why don't I come along to some fracking meeting or whatever and do an interview and find out what it's all about? Because I'm not very informed, I have to say. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And, of course, there's both sides of the argument. I don't want to have a load of bias thrown at me because, you know, I usually wash my face in the morning. But I'd be happy to come along and do a little feature because it is our heritage. And if they are doing some damage to it, then I want to know what the story is. So I'm sure there'll be people who'll be interested. Ian says, hello, been up to the edge of Saddlemore Moors today. Most of the snow gone, just littered with dangerous cars. Is that where people go and dump their cars then? Paul Watts has arrived. He says, sorry I'm late. And he, of course, is giving me a note. And what does it say?
My mum said I was feeling a bit under the weather. Please let me off. I'll be your best friend forever.
Oh, and it even rhymes. So that's great. Good stuff. Well, now, here's an interesting thing. And I was a bit dubious about what to do with this one, but I'm going to put it up anyway, because this was something else that was posted in the forum, if I can just turn off the background. Here we go. Now, you may have noticed this. This is in the group, and this was posted by Paul Hine, and it is the entertainer G.H. Eliot, who was around from 1882 to 1962. He was a British music hall singer and dancer who was, I think he went over to America when he was very small and got onto the boards and then came back and played on the boards in the music hall. And you'll see there that he had a very interesting... a name. Now, I don't know whether you can say that word anymore without becoming supposedly a racist, but can you be a racist if you're talking about history when these things happened in the past? And when you're I mean, if you were talking about people in the present as being whatever that is, then that's one thing. But can you be called a racist if you are referring to other people who, you know, like the black and white minstrel shows? If you were to do it today, it would probably be done in bad taste because we've moved on. But surely it's still okay to reference them because it actually happened. Because if you can't talk about things like that without one part of the community being offended, then it's very difficult because you're effectively erasing history. It may not be comfortable history that people are happy with, but things happened in those days, and we have to be able to talk. We have to be able to address them or readdress them or put them in context or whatever it is. So anyway, I'm playing the I'm playing the safe bloke because I don't want to upset anybody. I want you all to be my mates and that we can all have jolly good fun. But anyway, that was very interesting. But the fact that this chap, George Eliot, who was an entertainer, and I'm an entertainer, so I have a sort of, you know, some sort of feeling for him, and that he performed, and there he is. His gravestone, I believe, is in Rottingdean. So whilst he is rotting away underneath, his stone, by the looks of things, seems to be in fine fettle. It's just an excuse to go and look for it and tell perhaps a bit of his story. Be interested in your thoughts on that, how you feel about that. So that's all quite good. And I had an interesting email, ladies and gentlemen. An interesting email. I brought it in on my phone. Now, this is quite peculiar because I had a message from Google over the weekend. And you know, sometimes they flag things up and they said, have you got time? What do you mean, have I got time? Have you got time to do a bit of security? I suppose if I don't do the security, Mr. Google, you won't give me access to the account. Quite right. So I said, yes, all right, then I have got a bit of time. I'll do this security. And going through the security, he said, your phone, you haven't got a keyboard safe lock thing. I said, I don't know what that is. What do you mean? You know, where you can draw a funny squiggle with your finger to unlock the screen. I said, oh, I don't want to do that because I'll get all confused. I won't understand it. Well, in that case, why don't you have a keypad number? I thought, oh, blimey, it's security here, security there. I thought, well, I suppose it's safe because we all keep our lives on there, don't we? So I'm just going to find this email by putting in... Now, don't look. I've got to put my keyboard number at keyboard. My keypad, not keyboard. That would be like, you know, a bit of Moonlight Sonata or Beethoven's Left Ear. No, Fifth symphony. Anyway, whatever. So hang on a minute. I've just got to do this. Oh, there we are. I've got through to the email. There it is. Lovely. So this is an email. Now, I'm not going to read all the emails that come into the show, but every now and again, it's always interesting. You get an email from somebody, and it's really nice when, you know, one just touches your ear, mate. It touches your ear, and you just have to respond. So this is an email from one of our new listeners, viewers. I keep saying listeners because I used to do a podcast, you see, an audio podcast for about 10 years, and I still refer to people as listeners. And of course, you're all viewers now. You've all got eyes. I've only got one, but most of you, probably got two. Anyway, here it is. So this is from Russell MacDonald Bell, which I just love that name. I wish that was my name. And now the Bald Explorer with Russell MacDonald Bell. Ding dong, you're not wrong. So this is, hi Richard. This is the first podcast we listened to. This was the one on yesterday, I think it was. It was really good. You and your ideas are all good ones. Mini adventures, we're going to get onto that in a second, are a great way to supplement what you're currently doing. I assume they will be in a longer format. This would be good. Well, it's exactly what I want to discuss with you guys in the show this evening. The Bald Explorer, he says, this is the reason I wanted, this is the bit now that why I wanted to read this out, okay? It wasn't just, you know, that bit. This is the real bit, because, you know, it's massaging the ego time. It says, the Bald Explorer is the only thing we watch each night. Since finding it, we haven't watched a thing on the TV or Netflix. Can you believe that? Can you believe? Well, of course I can believe it. No, what? No, what are you talking about? I hope everyone gets behind the ideas and we can support moving them forward. Don't get disheartened if it doesn't happen straight away. I'm sure it will. Kind regards and all the best, Russell MacDonald Bell. Sounds so distinguished, so distinguished. Thank you so much, Russell MacDonald Bell. What a lovely email. And you know, you're probably missing some very interesting and important television programmes. So don't reserve your entire entertainment to me. There's got to be balance in your life. But I really appreciate that email, and it's really nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, now, hang on, I've got to do something here in order to get this to work. Recognise this. Just have a quick jiggle. Yes, okay, so this is the theme from the Italian Job, I know, and I'm probably going to get copyright slapped when this goes up on YouTube. But the idea of mini adventures, and yes, I know, is it really minis, as in mini cars? No, it's not really mini cars at all. No, this is the idea of, here we go, look at this. This is the idea of going on an adventure, a small adventurous break, not in minis, because I don't have a mini and I couldn't afford to buy a mini. It'll have to be in my little Peugeot. It's not quite the same. Peugeot break. They're more like a Peugeot breakdown. But anyway, let's not get past that. So the idea of the mini... Now, some people will already know about this. Some of you will already know because you are amazing people and you're patrons of the Vobes. And that means that you have supported me financially, maybe at, you know, the price of a cup of coffee a month. And because you do that, you get the Naked Englishman podcast, which is all the new ideas and the behind-the-scenes sort of thing, every day in a little podcast. Which is great. Now, other people, of course, who don't do that, who sadly don't support the Vobes, you don't know about it. So that's why I have to sort of bung it in the show, and it's good because we can share the ideas in a live environment, and I'll have a look at some of your messages and stuff in a moment. So the concept of the mini ideas, just to run over it very briefly then, is I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Having met people like Julia, like Harriet, of course, Should have put Harriet first there. She'll be very upset. Redo that again. Having met people like Harriet and Julia and Georgie and Martin and all the exciting people that there are, and then all the guest people like Ed Warren, of course, and Elizabeth Housden. Got to get her name right. I don't know why. I've got a funny thing about that. And well, everybody, you know, all the lovely people who've been involved and are being involved. Chris Monk, that's another one. There you go. I think what would be fantastic is to extend what I'm doing, instead of just doing a 10-minute video every day, is to go on a themed adventure, a mini break somewhere, kind of. I mean, it's not a holiday. It's a working break. So we would go. Someone would come with me, because I think it's much more fun if somebody is there and I've got a companion and we can share notes and take different ideas about things. And we would go somewhere that is going to be interesting and relevant to the person who comes with me. So, for example, saw Georgie today, and I said to Georgie, because she likes going up the hills, you may have seen our Kader Idris expedition. Well, Georgie's recently just been climbing up Snowdon. Yes, on her own, I have you know. On her own. Yeah, well, she did take Monty, her dog. But, yeah, it was on her own. So that was absolutely incredible. So I said to her, look, I know that I would like to go and explore the Peak District. And Georgie would absolutely love the Peak District. Now, I've got a picture of the Peak District. Where is the... here we go. Let's find the Peak District picture. Here we go. Here's a nice example of the Peak District. And I know that Georgie would find this absolutely amazing. And she would be thrilled. And there's lots of places in the Peak District, like Bakewell, where the tarts come from. And as you know, I like a good tart. Oh, yes, there's a cringy joke if ever you wanted one. Here we go, look. It's a little excerpt from the Peak District there, and you can see... well, you can't see terribly much there, but there's lots of interesting places, not only high places, but low places, and little lakes and dingly dells and this, that and the other. Anyway, so the idea there would be to go to, say, somewhere like the Peak District, book a B&B for 2 or 3 nights, something like that, and we would go and make the videos. We'd make behind-the-scenes videos. We record the podcasts on it. We would plot where we are on Google Maps with little pictures so you can see exactly what we're doing. And if anybody's up in that area who wants to come along and meet us and join us and have a cup of tea with us and all those sort of things, then that would be absolutely fantastic, because, you know, the more people we can get involved, and then clearly it's the best. Now, to do that, of course, to do something like that is going to take a little bit of funding. And, of course, I'm doing this now, it seems, full-time, although I am actually at the school this week on Wednesday, doing my patron of reading, encouraging children to read. So I get paid for that. That's one job. That's one job this month, which is very nice. Whew, keeps the wolf from the door, because he's always there. Hello? Is that the wolf? Oh, God. Go away. Go away, baggy pants. You can't come in here. Oh, it's Red Riding Hood. Oh, you can come in. Ding dong. No, stop it. Stop mucking about. Yeah, so what I thought was, it may be possible that we could crowdfund these little projects on one-off things. So I was speaking to Julia. Now, we all love Julia because she's so effervescent, and she adds a completely different quality to what, say, Harriet brings, or Georgie brings, or anybody else brings, or my sister Corinne down in Devon would bring. So each person brings something different. And I was talking to Julia, and I said, look, because she'd pointed out a few interesting mystical places, because she's into that sort of mystical, dare I say, slightly hippie places, which is, you know, the juxtaposition, I think, between those sort of things and me will make quite curious watching, I think. I hope. Hopefully interesting watching. That's what I hope. So I said to her, look, you know, if hubby doesn't mind, it would be great to whisk you away right down to Glastonbury or somewhere like that, and we can go and explore all of that. There's some magic well or something, I can't remember exactly what it was, and there's some legends of this, that and the other, and there's various things, and I know that she would be the right person to go and do that with, just as Georgie would be the right person to take me around to explore the Peak District, just as Corinne, my sister, who knows Devon reasonably well and knows some very interesting places in Devon to take me, from not only the sort of what do they call it, the English Riviera, and then the sort of more obscure places as well. So and of course Harriet's going off skiing now. She's just got back from Dubai, and now she's going off skiing in well, it was going to be Switzerland. But I'm not invited. No. I'm not invited on any of these things. It's now going to be on the French Alps, I have you know. So, yeah, I said, well, we could do some videos up... Oh, I see. I'm not invited. All right, fair enough. I'll just sit here and carry on and do the show then, shall I, dear? All right, then. No panic. Anyway, so, but Harriet brings her own unique contribution, of course. And Lola, naturally, steals the show. So, and people always say, we want to see more of Lola. Lola. And of course, everybody wants to see more of Lola, so, you know, we'll get more of Lola in. But each of these little mini adventures throughout the year, they could be great, because I'm hoping that we could get some sort of dongle thing, you know, one of those dongly things that beams the internet out, so that we could do live broadcasts, not only from old coaching inns where we would be staying, but also out on the moors with Rob Moore holding the dongle and an aerial aloft and all of that. No, so that we could be wherever we are, we could do some live broadcasts. We'd obviously tell everybody when we're going to do them. And we may even, you know, if we could build up an audience for some of these things, we could even get some sponsorship. So there's lots of ideas floating about. They've all got to be pinned down and made to work. But with perhaps your help and some crowdfunding and all of that sort of thing, it may be possible. So I'd be interested to know what you think about that. So let's go and have a look in the chat room and see if you're talking about anything. Sounds like a great idea, says Gary Baines. Thank you. John Turner's just arrived. Hello, John. Kerber Edge is excellent. Don't know where Kerber Edge is. I need to find out more about that, Kevin Moore. Jake says, I've just sent you a friend request. Thank you very much. Obviously, I can't answer it because I'm in the middle of a show, but I'll have a look at it when I come back. Russell McDonald Bell says, if you go to Glastonbury, you go to the Rainbow's End Cafe. Excellent vegetarian vegan cafe. The greatest food ever. You see, we will be bringing a little bit of promotion to these places, so that would be quite good. Gary says, shout if I can help. Gary, I'm shouting! Definitely need help, because I can't do it all, and I really want to be able to get something like this off the ground and take as many people and go to as many places and do as many exciting things. Because it seems like at the moment I've got all the time, just not the funds. Kevin Hall says, your daughter would love Dovedale. So would you. I love the sound of it. Absolutely love the sound of it. I think that's great. Mark Green says, good evening. Hello, Mark. Music stopped, so that's that's what happens. So there we go. Brilliant. Okay, well, I've launched the idea, and I'll be working on it. Now, should say, with any luck, fingers crossed, the lovely Julia is going to be here on the Wednesday show. And we're going to talk all of things about the sort of things that she's interested in and what she does and what being a fairy means and, and all those sort of things. And I'm really looking forward to that. But also the things that we might get up to if we go on this trip and maybe start to launch it, because we're getting into the spring. I'm convinced that this is the last week of the cold and miserable weather, and that from next week onwards we're going to see sunshine, the blossom will be bursting from the branches and the leaves, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So if you're positive and feeling great, as I am, nothing can stop us, which is going to be absolutely superb. Let's have a look at the time and see where we are. Oh, it's 1:30. That half an hour goes ever so quickly. Now, I don't want to go on and on and on. I'll save that for when the guests are here and we've got more to talk about. But I have got a couple of clips to show you, first of all, because I do listen to you guys. You make these suggestions, and then afterwards I go through and I have a look and see who said what and whatever, and I write down the names of the places that you've said. Now, somebody was talking about Greatham if I remember last time. So I've been to Greatham Church today to make a video. Somebody said Greatham Church is really nice. You'll notice that I went to Greatham Bridge. I put a post in the Bald Explorer group. This is Greatham Church. Lovely, remote, rural church in the middle of nowhere. And it's got this very lovely little bell tower or bell cot that's, I think, I can't remember now. That looks like shingles. One of them's got slate on the top and one of them hasn't. I've been to a couple of churches. I'll tell you about the other one in a second. Here's that's the little God symbol thing. The cross, even. Inside there's all these lovely stained glass windows, which is nice to see, and these 13th century English style lancet windows all around. Beautiful tiny little windows. Anyway, I've made a little video about that, which will be coming up. And then somebody mentioned, why don't you go, it's only round the corner, to Wigenholt Church? And so I did. So I do listen. The sun was sort of half in and half out, so I raced up to Wigenholt Church, and here is it. Very similar church, but different. This one's got Horsham stone on its roof, and the previous one had a lot of ironstone in it, whereas and bits of I think Roman pottery. Although there's a lot of Roman stuff in the walls of this one as well, because there was found some Roman baths inside. Look at that lovely font cover. I think it's got a marble font, if I remember reading it correctly. And that's a nice bit of carving there. And I've lost the last picture. Where is the last picture? No, that's not it. Where is it? Oh yeah, well that's it. That's the three I picked. That's the three I picked. Fair enough. Also, I've was mentioned Greatham. I've got some clips here, so let's have a look at this particular clip. This is Greatham Bridge. This is a little moment from Greatham Bridge, and here am I when we had the snow, wandering across the bridge. You can see it was a bit of a bleak day, but I wanted to get out and get it done. So that is, I think that's towards the end of the week. And here am I wrapped up warm, waffling about something or other, I don't know what. But that's the River Arun on a very bleak day with I think more or less the last of the snow. But the road, ladies and gentlemen, the road leading up to that, while the other roads were nice and clear, that tiny little wiggly road that goes up to Greatham Bridge was very iced over. I was driving like a 70-year-old. Well, I better be careful because I've got some people in that age who watch this show, and I love you dearly, of course. But what I mean is, I was like a 90-year-old. Pretty sure nobody of 90 watches my nonsense. And I was driving so carefully because I didn't really want to go. It's a very narrow road with ditches either side, and I just didn't want to slide into a ditch. And then this, I don't know whether it was a BMW or a Merc or one of these flash people. He came flying up this road behind me, and I eased over for a bit, and he zoomed past on this very narrow road. And I thought, golly, you're going to be in a ditch. And do you know what? I never saw him. So presumably he wasn't in a ditch. Anyway, so that's that one. And here is, I forget what this one. Oh, yes, on the way back, I went somewhere else. And I thought, oh, I know that this place is worthy of a proper study, but I just thought I'll just get out and do another video because I'm here. And this is part of the RSPB. It's close to Pulborough Brooks. It's right on Brooks, rather. It's right on the edge, really. But you get into it, and there's deer footprints. At least I think they're deer footprints. They're deer to me. And you go through this lovely sort of landscape, and the sun was just, you can see the sun was just coming out. And then there's a few bird footprints as well. Pterodactyls were flying around, of course, and a brontosaurus stooped down to just have a quick look at me. Very lovely with the snow and the sort of bleak, the sun giving it a sort of silhouetted effect. But yes, there you are. It's all very nice. And then, of course, again, like we saw at Kingley Vale, there are areas where the people who look after it have turned bits of wood into little hides or little shelters for the animals, presumably for the animals as opposed to for them. Well, maybe when the pterodactyls are coming down, that's what they do it for. But so there we go. Anyway, I've edited those two up, and they will be coming up later on in the week. So that's all very exciting. And of course, I'm filming. Well, I've been out today, as I said, and I may not be doing any filming tomorrow, although the weather actually is supposed to be good, because Nigel Sadler is taking me out to lunch. It doesn't get better than that, does it? So what are we saying then? Kevin says your daughter said that. Steve Pilford says, what's the prize for guessing your location today on Facebook? Well, somebody got it. Steve, you got it. Oh, yes, of course. That was I had to think then. That was Greatham Church. Where was I? Yeah, that was Greatham Church, and you guessed it. I did say bingo, but yeah, the prize is in the post. Good game. All right, my love. It's in the post that never comes. Alex says there is a cool climb on Kerber nicknamed P-Pod. Is that P-Pod? Oh, P-Pod Kevin. Oh, no, that's a thing too, Kevin. Okay, I've got that. Karen has just joined. Hello, Karen. We're just about to finish. There's no point coming in at 8:30. We've just been talking about all the land all around you. Went to Wiganholt and... I'm losing the plot now. Great ham. Lovely ham. Superb ham, not horse ham or horse ham, but Greatham Church. Just showed a clip at Greatham Church. You'll have to watch it all from the start now. A whole bunch of good grit and limestone crags. Oh, ooh likes a nice bit of grit and limestone crags. Imbello says, are you still doing birthday parties? It's my 60th year. I'd like something different. Oh, blimey. Well, I'll have to I'll have to think about that. I haven't done a birthday party for many, many years. Anyway, I think that's more or less it, ladies and gentlemen, except that I did come across one very strange thing today when on my travels, and people have had a guess and a look at it in the group, and they thought it was some fungi, but surely the eye socket and the teeth on it gave it away. And somebody said they thought it was the remains of a deer skull. And I guess that's the antler coming out the top. It does, I grant you, does look like a mushroom. That was by one of the churches. And I thought it was just a sheep's head at first, so I didn't do anything. If I'd have known it was a deer skull, I would have brought it home. I don't know what I would have done with it. Probably... thrown it away in the end, but there you go. A bit of something that I found and was marginally interesting. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough from me. You can carry on chatting away if you so wish. It's lovely to see you, and thank you for tuning in. But I've got to go. Things to do, people to see, phone calls to make, letters to write, that sort of thing. So thank you once again for tuning in on the Monday. I'll be back again tomorrow. Julia is going to be in on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, I don't know. It could be you. So take care one and all, and thanks for coming, and I will see you soon. Goodbye. Goodbye.